Hey, what's up guys, this is Thomas, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to talk to camera for the first time ever. So this isn't general advice on how to, in general, get better at talking to camera, setting yourself a routine, practicing, the long journey of doing it. This is about watching this video right now and then becoming better at talking to camera by following these 3 tips for the first time. So if you watch this video and then talk to camera, it's going to literally make that first video better if you follow the tips. Stick to the end for a hack, which is going to enable you to remember exactly what you need to say and also connect with it, kind of feel it out. So you know what you need to say, but also you can riff around those points and have a very clear structure in your head, not make too many mistakes. So with that said, let's get into tip number 1. So first tip, mentally, emotionally, you're gonna get clear on who you are talking to. So this is really important. When you're making your first ever video, you might be a little bit self-conscious and you might be very easily distracted. Personally, I found the fastest way to mitigate this distraction, get around it and really focus in on what you need to talk about is by imagining who you are actually talking to, who's on the other side of the camera. So if you do that, you're going to emotionally connect with them and you're also going to become more authentic. People often think authenticity is this thing that they need to find. They're going to finally search for this version of themselves which is truly authentic. But actually, yourself depends on who you're actually communicating to. So you're going to be one person when you're hanging around with your family, another person hanging around with your colleagues. Both of those people might be authentic, they're just naturally calibrated to those different environments. So calibrate yourself to the person you want to talk to. So let's say you're giving advice like me, I might imagine who I'm giving advice to. Let's say you're talking about your day, but you're imagining who you're talking about your day to, who is watching it. That's going to set your tone and it's going to help you focus in on what you're actually saying by imagining who is on the other side of the camera. All right, this next tip is a touch more abstract, but it's really going to help you if you manage to make this click. When people start making their first videos, they can often be very energy dispersed, meaning they're kind of talking around here and they're a bit flustered and they don't know what to say and they're kind of, here I am. And people who are more experienced talking to camera are a little bit more locked in. They are present, they're even aware of their surroundings, but they're locked in on the camera. So I could tell you just look at the camera and just make eye contact with the camera and try not to look away too much. Yeah, that's going to help. It's an outer thing that might help you be slightly more locked in. But I want you to imagine it as if it's energy. Your energy is all around you. So imagine the person who's talking to camera for the first time. The energy's over there, they're kind of sending it in the different directions. They're kind of, maybe they're keeping it close to them and not really projecting it at all. So instead I want you to imagine that you have this energy and you have control of it. And you're going to kind of blast the energy at the camera. So you kind of summon the energy and then kind of blast it in a channel towards the camera. Now, this is going to make you intense, and that's great. It's good to be intense, it's good to ramp up that enthusiasm slightly, but you can control it. So if you imagine the energy really blasting, you're talking to the camera like this, and I'm sending all of my energy to you right now, maybe it's a bit too much. So I can kind of dial that back a little bit. I can kind of disperse it slightly and kind of manage how much I'm projecting at the camera, how much I'm talking to you on the other side of the screen. You might even find yourself doing this with your hands. Cool, awesome. It's going to make your first video better. As you progress, you can kind of play with this a little bit more, but think about how your energy is here and then kind of direct it towards the camera. So when you're talking, you're going to be more like this. You're going to be projecting yourself at the camera and you're going to be focused. You're going to be dialed in. Tip number 2, get the energy here, put it here. Tip number 3 is to breathe. You've probably heard me before, if you watch any of my other videos, talking about the importance of breathing before you talk to camera. So, for example, doing a deep breath in and a breath out for a couple minutes just to calm yourself down. It's going to make you more present, more focused. But it's also really important to breathe whilst you're talking to camera, especially if you're doing the energy blast that I was telling you about just now. So if you're blasting all your energy at the camera and you're super intense, you might kind of forget to breathe a little bit. Now, watch this sounds stupid. Inside my programs, I see a lot of videos. And the people who start out are often out of breath. They're a little bit breathless. So the reason for this is because they're slightly anxious. So you're kind of talking and you're trying to kind of keep going. And you're trying to keep talking, you get to 2 minutes and you're like, wow, I've been talking to 2 minutes. I want to practice, so I want to talk to 5 minutes, but you're trying to kind of hold on to something. You're trying to kind of keep it going somehow, and that makes you slightly breathless. So instead, you want to just ground yourself in the moment by breathing throughout. So even if you're blasting your energy at the camera, it's fine to pause. And then it's fine to just keep going again. So breathing throughout, in between sentences. If you finish a sentence, then go on to the next sentence and keep it going like that. You don't have to be breathless. It's going to make you quite uncomfortable to watch, and it's going to feel like you're kind of unstable somehow. Not mentally, but like you're kind of unstable you're on unstable ground. You're on shaky ground. You want to be on solid ground. So to get on solid ground, breathe throughout your video. You can keep it intense. You just got to keep breathing. And in between each sentence, you can take a breath, stay intense, keep it going, stay enthusiastic, whatever. You don't have to be super spiritual if you're breathing. You just got to keep breathing whilst you're talking. All right, just before we get on to the bonus tip, feel free to download the Talk to Camera cheat sheet, which is in the description below. That is a one-page PDF with a few tips and tricks that are going to help you deliver to camera, especially if it is your first time. So the bonus tip was inspired by a member of the 30-day Talking to Camera challenge, Ingo. And what Ingo found was that instead of just writing out the bullet points he wanted to talk about, let's say 3 to 5 bullet points on a sheet of paper, and look at them and then kind of refer to them, what he would do is stick them right under the lens of his camera and then take a moment to memorize these points. Not just memorize them, he would try and connect with them emotionally, and he'd try and see them in his mind. So there's a few ways to do this. For you, it might be closing your eyes and trying to see how each point connects to the next one. For others, it might be with your eyes open and just kind of seeing the points in front of you. Do whatever you have to do to really download these points in your brain. It takes a little bit of mental willpower, a little bit of mental effort to do this, but it's 100% worth it. So literally it'll take a minute or 2 minutes of kind of focus to get these bullet points into your brain. And once you have them there, it's going to free up so much mental RAM. So you know how you feel about those points, you know kind of what you want to transmit, and then once you have them, you can kind of riff and be spontaneous around those points, but staying focused on where you are in that journey. You're really going to then feel like you're leading your audience through a journey, whether that's through a story, whether that's explaining something, but you're going to feel like you are coming with me and I'm going to take you through these points, and it's going to be a little bit of a journey. Rather than kind of referring back to your points, not knowing where you are, again, having that kind of anxious breath, dispersed energy, etc., etc. So I hope you can see how this stuff all links together. With that said, feel free to download that cheat sheet, as I said, and until next time, keep filming, stay creative, bye-bye.